Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and I am participating in a blog hop featuring silver and gold, and I have made a layout using our silver foil pattern papers. So today's video is all about our silver and gold, and we have several paper packets, several patterns. I'm not going to walk you through all of them, but I definitely wanted to show you what you're working with. So here is the polka dot for the silver, and then you've got a plaid, and then hearts, and the back sides of these are just plain white. That way you don't have to pick between pretty side and a non-pretty side. And then we've got stars, and then kind of this bold stripe. And then we also have gold foil patterns, and then brand new to the 2021-2022 core catalog is the rose gold foil patterns. So the silver and gold are pretty much quote-unquote retired, but they're still available on my website. So I'll leave links down below, and then let's take a look at what I have planned for today's project. Okay, so I am going to use this silver pattern, which is that grid. And I'm going to couple it with the new Wonderland collection. So I've got some of the felt shapes that come with that collection. And then here's just a look at the sticker sheet. I love that. And as you know, Texas had quite the snowstorm last year, and I am secretly praying for that again. I know that's probably not popular with my Texas neighbors, but I love snow. So here's a look at the pattern paper. Now our paper is one pattern on one side and then a different pattern on the other. So you've got those two patterns. You've got these patterns. I love that this resembles kind of a sweater, a winter sweater. And then of course, those different varying sizes of polka dots. And then you've got this one that's got some greenery. And then of course, those cute little beanies or toboggans, whatever you call those around your parts of the United States or the world. And so I'm going to be using this paper packet along with that silver grid paper. And I'm actually going to be inking up the white spaces of this silver paper, and that way I can make it a different color. So let's start off with that by grabbing my all-purpose mat and getting the setup. So the first thing I did was pulled out all the colors that are in the Wonderland collection. And if you're ever curious what those colors are, they can be found on the back of our zip strips on our pattern paper. So one side is a pattern, and then the other side it'll tell you all the coordinating colors. And then I pulled out the sticker sheet. So I'm going to be using this pattern paper for my base page, and it's just that polka dot pattern that's glacier, and then it's got some tone on tone, and then of course the white. And then I pulled out the sticker sheet and kind of had in my mind what stickers I want to use for this photo. So I'm going to be using Remember This, Snow Fun, probably All Bundled Up, maybe this, and save this one for the other meat and potatoes of our album. So I think I'm going to actually color this with the peach. So it's going to be a subtle color. I think it's going to look very good against this glacier pattern paper. And then that way I can bring in some of these other colors in the stickers. So to get started, let me move this out of the way. And again, I have my all-purpose mat. And our mats are pretty large. So I just like to cut mine. I have a half sheet, and then I have 2/4. And then I do have one that I just keep full for bigger projects. But this is just a little bit more manageable for my space. And I'm going to be using one of my ink blending brushes. And then all you do is just start blending over this foiled paper, and the color is not going to stick to the silver. What I usually do is after I get it all inked up, I'll just take a dry paper towel and just run that paper towel over my piece of pattern paper, and it'll take whatever ink did kind of sit on that foil because it's not going to be dry because it's not actual paper. It's not as porous as paper. So I'll just take a dry paper towel and wipe it down. So I'm just going to continue to do this for the length of this 4.5 by 12 piece of paper. And then I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I finished that. Like I said, it's extremely subtle. And then I'm going to try something. I have the 2 stamp sets for the Wonderland. We've got this one that's the scrapbooking stamp set, and then we've got the card making stamp set. And it's got several little snowflakes. So I want to see how it's going to look if I random stamped these snowflakes in the squares. So usually what I do, if I'm not sure something's going to turn out the way I want it, is I know that my photo and some embellishments are going to kind of be centered right here. So I'm just going to stamp some right here. So in case I don't like it, it can be hidden. So I really like how that looks. So I am just going to finish this off. And when I say random, just meaning not in every square, just in randomly picked squares. So for the embellishing process, I decided to speed this up a little bit, and then I will just walk you through what I did and some of the decisions I made. So I adhered down that silver foil pattern paper and then capped it off by one of the coordinating zip strips. And then I am just going to ink up this photo mat. Now I've already matted my photo on a piece of white daisy cardstock and the light side of a peach cardstock to kind of bring that peach color over to the center and then eventually to the right of the page. And I am just going to add some foam tape or some foam sheets to the back of this photo. Number one, for dimension, and then also it'll allow me to tuck in the embellishments. Anytime I'm adding a photo before the embellishing stage, if I add it on 3D foam, then it allows me to tuck in those embellishments underneath the photo. So off camera, I've cut some of the images for the Wonderland scrapbooking stamp set. And I'm just going to ink these up on the back side of my Versamat. It's got a built-in foam and it's large enough that I can do all my stamping at once, which is always a plus. Now you saw me cut my stamp set apart, or my stamp image apart, and I love doing that. It's going to allow me, without masking, to use 2 different colors on this title piece. So Winter Wonderland is inked up in charcoal. And then I'm going to take our new color, Rosemary, and ink those trees up. Now, Rosemary is kind of an odd color. It's not really green, it's not really gray, but it does dry a little bit on the green side, which is what I wanted. And then there are several snowflake sizes and images. So I am going to just pull those snowflakes off of the carrier sheet, ink those up in a combination of Glacier and then 2nd generation of the Sapphire. And then also when I was doing the die cutting, I had some partial snowflakes. Now those are perfect to be tucking underneath my photo, and you'll see here in just a second how I use those. So if you ever come up with a partial snowflake image or any image that you're cutting, don't throw those away. You can always use those. Now, one of the thin cuts is a label, and I've decided to actually use that label to die cut this little sticker out, and it's going to be the tab on my layout. So that's another thing you can do with our thin cuts, is use those to die cut that sticker sheet. So you can see there that I just stamped some snowflakes onto the layout itself. And then now I'm just going to start adding these thin cut and die cut snowflakes to my layout. And you can see there, I just made it really easy to tuck those snowflakes underneath that photo. And then I'm just going to add them via foam tape, via liquid glue, and then I am trying to group those in 2s and 3s. Now, my 3D foam circles are perfect for these snowflakes. It makes it really easy to apply the adhesive or the foam to the back of the snowflake and then adhere them down instead of cutting squares of my foam tape. First, I wanted to add a snow flurry. There's these 2 large ones on the sticker sheet, so I'm going to cut this one down pretty significantly. And it's just a very subtle look. In the photos at the end of this video, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And then there are a couple of little round snowflakes that I'm going to add here and there just to kind of add some more white backed snowflakes, I guess, if you will. And then I'm going to pull out these foam shapes. Now, I definitely wanted to use more, but I ended up just using the tree and then one of those white snowflakes. And then here are those gorgeous iridescent snowflake loose sequins. Now, my preferred method is picking it up with our pickup tool. It is currently on back order, but I will let you know as soon as it's available because it is one of my new favorite products. And I like to just put those sequins onto the glue dots. Now, I'm using the micro glue dots because these snowflake sequins are pretty small. And I'm just going to add a few more to the layout. You can see up at the top right where that little snow flurry is, and then of course in the little bundles of the stamped snowflakes. So here is a look at the completed layout. I did end up adding some journal lines off camera just with my gray journaling pen. I love how they're just tucked underneath that title right there. I'll leave links down below to all the products that I used, as well as a link to that blog hop if you're interested in checking out the other silver and gold projects that other Close to My Heart makers will be sharing. Have a great evening. Don't forget that we've reopened the 31 Days of Christmas cards, and I'll leave a link down below where you will have access to 31 videos, 31 Christmas cards, and ideas for all your Christmas projects.